Welcome to the No Cap Zone. I'm your host, APT Songs. Yo, can we talk about how freaking messed up the Aaron Hall music video is for the song I Miss You? Now, for those of you that aren't familiar, Drake recently came out with an album with Party Next Door called Some Sexy Songs for You. And on that album, there's a song called Gimme a Hug, which is a very up-tempo party track. And at the end of the song, you hear Aaron Hall sample of I Miss You, I'm talking to you, baby. I had never heard that song before. I never checked out any of Aaron Hall's stuff. I knew that people compared him to R. Kelly a lot back in the day because they were both bald and sang love songs, but I never heard the song. And I liked the sample. I checked out the song and I was like, this is actually a really enjoyable song. The song itself is about a guy that is missing his girlfriend, and they used to be together and spend all these great times together. And then she found somebody else and moved on. And I thought that's a typical standard R&B track, but it's sung really well. He's got a lot of passion and he does those runs that like R&B singers in the 90s did. So I'm like, that's great. And then I found out there was a music video and I said, I got to check out this music video because I'm sure it's going to be a standard 90s video. And let me tell you, that is not at all what happens in this video. So spoiler in advance, I'm going to tell you exactly what goes on in this video because I was just like going on one journey and then it just switched to a completely different journey that I didn't anticipate. Video starts out like a standard 90s R&B video. You got Aaron Hall with some glasses on because he's outside by the pool and near his mansion, and he's having visions of his former girlfriend being there at the pool with him, right? Then you switch over to him being inside a house in the dark and also still wearing sunglasses because this is just apparently 90s chic. This is what you did. You wore glasses, whether you were inside, whether you were outside, whether you were staring at the sun or staring in a dark hole, you always wore sunglasses. So of course he's singing about all the good times they had together. And while he's singing this on screen, we see her show up in this really nice lingerie set. I mean, she had a robe and a bra and panty set that was just amazing. They're in the throes of passion, going at it in the bedroom. Again, standard, typical 90s R&B stuff. And it cuts between scenes of that and scenes of him in this dark house with no lights on, wearing a trench coat that looks like he's trying to be a detective. So then they flash back to more scenes of them side by side, loving on each other. And then it cuts to him in the house and he's holding a picture of her that he's putting down on some kind of mantle or dresser. And while he's doing this, he's singing, "Somebody Came and Took My Place." At this point, I'm already trying to predict how the rest of this video is going to go. And what I'm thinking is, okay, now you're going to start to see them fighting, not having a great time together. And then you're possibly going to see him come home from work one day and lo and behold, he walks into his bedroom and sees her cheating on him with another guy. This is standard for R&B in the 90s. This is what you saw with R. Kelly videos and Mr. Biggs videos and Drew Hill videos where the woman was surprise, sneaking out on this dude. Or maybe he picks up the phone one day and hears her and another dude talking, and then he realizes, oh, I'm being cheated on. I'm figuring this is where the video is going to go because the song itself is about her finding another man. It shouldn't be hard to connect the dots, right? This is not where the video goes at all. Instead, in the next scene, you see Aaron Hall and this woman in the kitchen, and she turns around and she's got a baby bump. Uh-oh. Okay, so now I'm thinking, where could this possibly go next? And my first thought was, okay, they end up having the baby, and then you find out it wasn't Aaron Hall's baby. It was actually another dude's baby. And then they'll flash back to that one time where she cheated on him with another dude. And now he shows up at the hospital too. And Aaron Hall's all distraught. Like, it could go in that direction. It does not go in that direction. After some more pool flashbacks, they cut to a few months later where now they're both putting together the baby's room. She's putting together the crib and you see him painting out some wallpaper. And at this point, things are seemingly going well. And then something happens. You see her feel a little bit of pain in her stomach, like, oh, that hurt. And he kind of goes over like, hey, are you okay? And she's assuring him, oh, no, I'm totally fine. It's just the baby kicking or whatever, just, pregnancy pains. It is what it is, right? And I see that and I'm like, okay, what are they going to do? What is happening? And then they cut to the next scene where she's in the living room sitting down on the couch and he comes in with a black puppy. She seems happy that the dog's there. And then you see Aaron Hall reading to his unborn child. It's all very, very sweet. Okay, so this part is where the video takes a huge detour. So these two are lying up in bed and she gets up and you can see that once again, her stomach's in pain. So she goes to the kitchen to get some water. Next thing you know, she's having this excruciating pain in her stomach. She's like, ah, oh my God. And so he gets up and runs out of the bedroom and goes to the kitchen. And you can see at this point, she's like on the floor, like struggling to get up. So I see that. I'm like, okay, clearly she's in labor now. This is the part where they're going to go to the hospital and just have the baby. She's rushed to the emergency room. Cut to Aaron Hall's face over her as they're rushing her into the emergency room. They got an oxygen mask all on her face, and she gets rushed off while he has to stand there at the door at the emergency room waiting to see what's going to happen. He goes into the waiting room. Then you go to the emergency room, and they just have flashes. You see flashes of them working on her. You see flashes of them trying to get her awake with a flashlight. And then you cut to the monitor that just has a flat line. Beep. And I'm sitting there like, no freaking way. They did not kill this chick off in a music video where the song is about missing somebody and them like going away. Not them dying, but then just going away. But no, sure enough, the doctor comes out into the emergency room. And by the way, Aaron Hall is doing his best to do a good acting job. He can't pull it off. He doesn't have the emotional fortitude to be able to do this. So he's just like, oh man. And then his homeboys have to catch him because he's about to fall on the ground. And I'm sitting there like, did they really do this? They really made this where this chick dies? Like, no, it's a fluke. She's gonna come back to life. It's gonna be totally okay. Cut to the next scene where they're at her funeral. They got a whole casket. They're outside. A bunch of family members and stuff are there. There's flowers around. But more importantly, you see a couple of people next sitting next to Aaron Hall that are carrying this huge bundle of blankets. And that's the baby. And I saw that and thought to myself, no wonder she died, because this baby is huge. Like, for those of you that have not seen a baby in real life when they're first born or like a couple of days old, I got news for you. Babies aren't as big as they make them out to be on TV. On TV, they got to cast babies that are like 6 months or older because, handling a small newborn, they're very, very fragile. Their head's not fully formed yet, so they usually have bigger babies. But this baby looked like he was like a 14-pound baby. And I'm sitting there like half laughing and half crying because like the acting on screen itself is so bad, but the situation itself is so sad. Like, he actually loved this woman. They were having a baby together. They were starting a family, and then she just up and dies. And now he's got to be a single freaking father. Like, that's actually sad. But again, it doesn't go with the song, and the baby being that big, I'm sorry, it was just freaking hilarious. So then, of course, you cut to a few months later, he's now raising the kid, and he's trying to play with it, and he's showing the kid the picture of the mother. And then the last scene is they go to her actual tombstone, where I guess he introduces the baby to the mother. But the point is that when I clicked on the video to watch this, I did not anticipate I'd be going through that journey. I really thought it was going to be a standard, oh boy, here's another video where a woman's doing this guy wrong, and maybe she ends up with his best friend, or she just goes off and leaves him a note, and he's there left to pick up the pieces. I didn't expect it to be a whole drama about loving this woman and trying to start a family, and then her dying as a result of her pregnancy. Like, didn't anticipate that. Now, finally, I will say this, because I know people are going to see this and be like, APT, you're being ignorant. Obviously, you should know more history about the video. I looked up the history of the video. I know that Aaron Hall had a couple of tragic incidences that happened in his life. His mom got hit by a car on Christmas Eve and died, and then cut to a few years later where he had a kid, and that kid also died. So I can understand how, for purposes of the video, he's trying to get across this idea of like family and death and the heartbreak that it causes. I think that's a very endearing message. The problem is that message doesn't correlate with the lyrics of the song, which is about a woman that he loves leaving him for a man, not leaving him because she died. Because I'm watching this in 2025, where if I didn't do my research, I would have no understanding of why a song about losing a lover to another man ends up being a music video about losing a woman to death. Like, I'd be like, these two things don't go together. What the heck? And most people aren't going to do research on the video like that. So I just found it to be like a crazy ride. But if you want to see a semi-entertaining video where nothing matches up, the song lyrics don't match up with the video, what's happening on screen doesn't match up with the sentiments of the song, and his acting on screen is absolutely terrible. It feels like it could have been an R. Kelly video, which I completely understand why people compare these two people in hindsight. But check out the video, because it is just a weird trip, and I didn't expect it to go where it went. I ain't mad at it, but it's just So freaking interesting. But let me know your guys' thoughts. For those of you that have seen Aaron Hall's I Miss You video, what did you think about the video? If you were a person that saw it in the early 90s, what did you think about when you first saw it? If you're a person that's just becoming new to it because of the Drake song, what did you think when you first saw it? Like, did you think, oh my God, this is freaking weird? Or did you think, oh, that's a sweet song and sweet music video? Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. I'm APT Songs. Be sure to check out my new single, 1,000 Baby Oil Bottles, available on streaming services. You can also get my new album, Allow Me to Reintroduce Myself, Volume 1, on all streaming platforms. I'm APT Songs, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
I'm slicker than 1,000 baby oil bottles. If you ask him, did he do it? I'm like, yeah, I'm popping models. If you see me on the mic, you know I go at it full throttle. If you hate on me today, then you gon' really hate tomorrow. I'm slicker than 1,000 baby oil bottles. If you ask him, did he do it? I'm like, yeah, I'm popping models. If you see me on the mic, you know I go at it full throttle. If you hate on me today,